Something you don't have to talk about.
Oh,
I try to get Harry to talk about shit he doesn't want to talk about all the time.
Shit that I'll get fucking sued for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You guys ready? Welcome back to the FLEXCAST. Welcome back to the FLEXCAST. That's what the fuck this is called. FLEXCAST number 19?
Yep.
And you guys might notice that in addition to Steve the motherfucking gamer, Harrison Neville, me, Haas, we have this gentleman here. His name is Mike Acheampong-Boateng.
That's correct.
How you supposed to say that name?
I'm from Ghana, so it's pronounced Acheampong-Boateng.
Acheampong-Boateng. Yeah.
You were a little close.
Yeah.
A little close.
Yeah.
I mean, I was guessing.
Happy to be here. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
Right.
So Mike here, is a friend of ours. He's been in the car group for a while.
Yes, sir.
He's a good man. We've hung out a few times. You can adjust that mic, but get it real close to you, like you're about to give it a nice kiss.
All right. All right.
Whoa.
Like up here, you got to adjust it up here. So
Okay.
what's funny is the fact that I'm telling you how to adjust the mic is amusing because Mike is actually a manager of on mic talent.
That's correct.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself once you get that squared away.
I don't know how to work this. This is my first
Harrison, help him
podcast,
out.
by the way. All right, there you go.
There you go.
How we sound? We sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I'm in the hip hop space. Manage a couple of artists, with the most notable being A Boogie with the hoodie.
We've all heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hey, Boogie.
yeah, just met Haas and Harry, just riding around, enjoying our beautiful foreign cars, exotic cars, and they invited me to this podcast. So here I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's been around before. Had you met Steve before?
No,
No,
first
that's my
time.
first
First
time,
time.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Steve, the
Officially.
motherfucking gamer, but
Yeah,
Steve, he's got the red Huracan.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
you've
Huracan
seen.
boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got
Yeah.
little Huracan people on this side.
Comfortable, chilling,
Yep.
fast,
Yeah.
looks good.
Weren't you just 2 podcasts ago talking about how you understand why people don't daily drive a Huracan?
Do you drive yours daily?
I do not.
Yeah.
I do not.
Because he pulled a muscle in
Pulled a
his.
muscle in my damn neck, driving it too much.
Really? How'd you do that?
Because I drove it every day for probably 10 days straight, going to the grocery store, going to fucking anywhere, like doing everything.
So when you first got it, you drive it everywhere.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so the blind spot is so bad. I was checking it so often and driving it so much, I pulled a muscle up my neck and I was sore I didn't drive for like a week after that.
Yeah,
Cause
that blind spot is terrible. What I do is if I can't see, I just accelerate.
step on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I learned.
That's what they're meant to be.
Yeah, I
Like
just
the
accelerate.
Aventador was notoriously bad because I mean you couldn't even see out the back. You'd
I
have
know,
to
I
look
remember
over.
that.
Hopefully your top was off and you look over the car to see behind you. But the concept behind the Aventador is that you just go faster than
That's
everybody
it.
else.
It's
Yep.
loud
and then you
too,
have to,
so.
yeah, it's real. And then they know you're there.
Yeah.
Do you have any visibility issues in the GTR?
No, not at all.
It's solid.
Not at all. I love that car. So
I just want to hear you shit on it.
nah.
The R8 wasn't even near as bad. It's a very similar car, but it was a bad blind spot. But not. It's different. I don't know what it is. It's so different in that car, and
It's different.
now I
It's-
get it. Now I understand it. But comparing to my last car, like I thought it was gonna be similar because the car is very similar, but it wasn't.
Well, Mike, you having a Huracan, you were at my house recently looking at the Ferrari because he was looking at buying a Ferrari, not in replacement of the
Oh,
Huracan,
I was about to say.
but in addition to, and he was looking at a 488,
488, yep.
which I was like, why? Because if you're buying a 488, like, why would you need the Huracan to me?
Right.
But tell us what you're thinking there.
Man, I'm big on manifestation, and I'm big on goals and stuff. A big reason why I'm here with you guys today is my love of cars. So everything I do in life is to get me to my next vehicle. So
We understand that.
I was, school was easy for me. I went because all I could think about was, making enough money to get a car. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So, I have a Huracan already. All right. I want to get a Ferrari. Have a little bit of a collection, start a little bit of a collection. So, I'm months away from that, but, it's something that it's a goal that's on my list of to-dos, and now I just drive towards those goals. So you know, that's just one of those things I want to get done. Who knows, I might get something less or more in the 488, but it's on the to-do list.
It's on the list.
So it gives me that drive, that motivation to deal with a lot of the nonsense I have to deal with on a day-to-day.
Before the Huracan, I met you when you got the Huracan. So what'd you have before the Huracan?
Ah, man, I've probably had like 20 cars. I had a so my daily's a G63, same thing like what he had.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I had a Panamera Turbo, the latest Panamera Turbo, and the guy in the Winnebago almost killed me on 285. Guy, you know, is an old guy. I felt sorry for him. You know, he ran into the back of me, and there was an 18-wheeler in front of me. So he ran me into the back of the 18-wheeler like it was a weird exit or something like that. So the car was impacted on the back and on the front. He totaled out the car, and I said, all right, I'm getting a big truck to drive on 285 because if someone hits me and I'm in a small, flimsy car, I might not make it. So I got the G, and then prior to that, I had an emm.six. So that's where my Instagram derives from.
His Instagram is emm.six, by the way, emm.six.
Correct, yep.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've had a bunch of 6 Series, a couple of Panameras, Range Rover, S-Class.
A lot of sedans and SUVs there.
I was a big GT car guy.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah, and then, you know, I moved into the mid-engine exotic, and I like the way it feels. You get that shove.
Yeah.
When you put your foot down, it feels good. So,
you
know, that's why I don't daily the Huracan, because it's like a special car. Yeah. So after a long day, I'll go out, you know, I'll go do a lap around 285 when it's empty and just feel it, you know what I mean? When I come back in the house, I feel exhilarated, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The best.
I think we all know exactly what that's like.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm at the point where I'm like, I haven't left the house, you know, especially now during COVID stuff. I haven't left the house. I should just go somewhere and drive. Just drive, you know, because driving is my therapy. Driving is how I not only have fun, but also I kind of get closer to myself, you know, centering, meditating. Some people meditate. I drive.
Yeah.
Drive like a bat out of fucking hell.
I know.
Driving for Haas is not driving. Like driving, we all conspirated. Actually, Steve driving. When Steve wants to drive, he fucking drive. They take the highway.
Harrison complains because whenever we're together and we're going somewhere and I'm in the Ferrari, I drive like I'm gonna drive, and Harrison's like, oh, I gotta keep up.
Well, no. There's there's times when it's open, like a little bobbing and weaving is fun, but like Haas likes to do it when it's like full on traffic. Yeah. Like we're barely going. He's just like going all the way to the right by the exit, cutting back in, going to the right, going all the way over. And
but I always signal.
That's
I
how
always signal.
That's how E drives with the Gallardo. E drives like that.
Well, and the Porsche, his Porsche is my favorite of his cars.
Yeah, that one. That one's nice.
Yeah.
That's the Mike Lowry car.
Exactly. It's beautiful. That's a gorgeous car. The way his mods though are perfect.
Yeah, it's tastefully done.
I don't like Porsches. I really don't. I don't make it a secret. But even though I've owned 4, but I love his car. I would totally buy that car, but not market rates. That's why they use Porsche. Like the value to me just isn't there for what you have to pay for them. But I don't know. I think his is fantastic. But yeah, his Gallardo, he drives hard as well. So
he gets into it for sure.
We need to have him on the podcast too.
Yeah.
So the folks who they kind of know our backgrounds obviously and how we got here, what we're doing. But do you want to give them a quick idea of what your path has been? Because I think it's very interesting. The reason why I ask is because I've talked to Mike about it, and we actually have a lot of similar paths. We kind of followed a similar pathway from kind of education and work, and also even how when we had kids, kind of around the same time. So give us a quick version of what you want to share about your path.
I'm from the Bronx, New York, and again, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of my motivation was cars. So from the Bronx, grew up in the projects, and when I think about it, my upbringing and my whole story, when you look at the statistics, they don't favor me per se, right? But I wouldn't say that I had a bad upbringing. So, it was community, you know what I'm saying? Everybody looked after one another. And, I went to school, did high school, went to college in upstate New York in Buffalo. And then I moved to the DC area. And I was working for a couple of Fortune 500 companies there. And, my background is in analytics. So, I went to school in undergrad. I did information systems and finance together. So that kind of put me into analytics. So I found myself, in meetings with folks in the C-suite, explaining to them, week over week, year over year, month over month, this is how the company's performing. And, here are my insights. This is what we shouldn't be doing. And then those folks will go and use that information to make decisions, actionable decisions that'll affect the course of a company. I was doing that for about a decade. And
as I like to say, ate shit for 10 years.
Yeah.
Which he exactly did the exact same thing I did. Eat shit for 10 years.
Eat shit for 10 years. And while I was doing that, I decided to go back to school. I went and got my master's in business. And I think looking back, I think that was a good decision because, like I was explaining to Haas when we sat down, I can talk the language. There's certain verbiage that's used when you go to grad school, and in business you can tell who's been to grad school versus who hasn't. And I can have those conversations with those people now that I've been formally trained in business. So that was something that I think was, looking back, I think it was worth it. I got my master's. I went back to my job. I'm like, I got my master's degree. Where's my raise? They weren't offering me much money. So I moved around, bounced around, and I moved from DC back to New York City. And around the time I moved back to New York City, a friend of mine was managing Cardi B. So I spent a lot of time with Cardi B early on when she was still dancing in the club or whatever. And, I watched her whole rise. And at the same time, my younger brother, he was starting the label, Highbridge the label, with A Boogie. And he would call me and ask me, I need a lawyer, I need this, I need that, what should I do? Certain things I would be able to give him. If I couldn't give him, I would call my guy J Class, shouts to J Class. I would call him, need a lawyer, I need this, need that. He'd send over the best people because he's in the music business. So I would send that directly over to my brother, and then, before I know it, A Boogie's a platinum artist, and I'm kind of still like on the outside. I'm just, if they need me, I'll step in, but I'm on the outside. And then, they had an altercation somewhere in a different city, and our business is very dangerous, as we've seen over the past year or so.
Shit, even the last week.
Yeah. So
King Von got shot, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, he was murdered, and then another guy was also murdered in Dallas or something like that. But
just recently, yeah.
Yeah, so some things I wasn't comfortable with, so I decided to get more involved in the business, and we've been running ever since.
Nice.
So
So didn't Billboard recently recognize you guys?
Yes. So yesterday, actually, we were recognized as, R&B and hip hop power players in Billboard magazine. It's the weirdest thing because, I never saw myself in the music business. I was always, I was proud, like, bro, I'm in tech. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in tech. I got a nice car just like you.
Made it out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm good, and then, I'm now been thrust into the music business, and it's the weirdest thing, the thing that's, not only just being recognized in Billboard, but just looking at all the names on the list, and I know
that you're in the same conversation with them.
Right, and I know about 80% of those people, I've done some type of business with them over the past. So it's like I belong, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know these people. It's not like I'm thrown on the list with people that, I still have a ways to go to get to their level.
Right.
I know all these people. We've had business dealings in one way or another, and it's just kind of surreal,
Well, congratulations.
I appreciate it.
That's
Thank you.
pretty cool.
Definitely.
So, given your, I guess, the rise that you've had, what do you think has been the biggest challenge that you've faced in the last, in the music business, basically? Let's say the last few years, right?
I would say there's a couple things, coming to so I'm a hip hop fan, right? Like I'm someone who grew up on the culture. I've grown up in the Bronx. I grew up literally down the street from where DJ Kool Herc started the whole thing, right? So, I'm someone who is deeply rooted and a real fan of the culture. So, coming into the business, you gotta take off your fan hat and wear your business hat. So that's one thing, because if you come in and you're a fan, people will prey on that. And then the second thing is just understanding that it's not a meritocracy. You know what I'm saying? The people that are good, they don't necessarily make it to the top. It's about team. It's about, strategy. It's about timing. All of those things play a role they play a factor in how successful you're going to be. There's some luck that's gonna that goes into it, your partners, and that was the most difficult, because it's just like I see the talent, like everyone on our roster, they have above average talent in what they do, but that's just a small part of the equation, man. In order to make it, there's other pieces that are in play that you have to deploy if you're trying to get to that next level.
Well, Steve's from New York as well.
Of course, you already know. Yeah. Brooklyn though. Yeah. I lived in the Bronx for a while too, but yeah, Brooklyn.
So growing up in Brooklyn, we've talked about this extensively, but at the time, like just when you were younger, what was your motivation to say I have to leave, or did you even have to say I need to leave?
No, it was more like people telling you like, yo, just because they took a route, it didn't work for them. And they telling you like, yo, nah, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. And I was tired of hearing that. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it that way. That's the way I'm gonna do it. And you're gonna watch me get up there.
So now that you're here, let's say in Atlanta, and you're doing what you're doing, do you see yourself going back?
Yeah, I go back all the time.
No, I mean like going back to live.
I'll visit. My family's still there. My whole family still live there.
But you don't think you're gonna move back there?
No, I mean, I'll have a place there, but not the way I used to live in Brooklyn and stuff like that. No, not the same.
How about you, Mike?
I mean, same with him. I'm I'm back and forth all the time. I split time between Atlanta and New York. So, probably get a duplex or a brownstone in Manhattan, or a penthouse across the water, something like that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'll take one too, guys.
Yeah, Long Island City.
Grab one,
definitely look at Long Island City's a spot
Grab
too.
the whole floor.
Yeah. You don't really I would never want to live in the projects again. You know what I'm saying? Because
not that you'd want to move back into the projects, but I mean, I have friends, for example, who go back to their hometown and then try to revitalize that area, right? When they've made it, so to speak, right? And they go back and they say, well, this is where I'm from.
Oh, no, but I still go back. Like, let's say
like invest in the area.
I graduate from Canarsie High School, so I would go back and like do free stuff or do like small stuff like that, but not. I don't know if I would
not go live there.
Yeah, no.
Not. Would you invest in the community?
Yeah.
You would.
Yeah.
What if you had to live there to do it?
I don't know if I will live there. I will have I feel like I have a spot because it's like my mom's place. Like
that's fair. You just stay there.
I still pay for it. I still all those. Still feel like I have an address in New York.
Are your folks still? Your family generally still
there? They live in New Jersey in the suburbs, so it's kind of like how Atlanta is, right?
Yeah.
You won't necessarily want to live in the city. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean, I do.
This is a
not Midtown,
right? You know what I'm saying?
I lived in Midtown for 7 years.
You did.
Yeah.
But for me,
this is the city.
This is not. This is. I'm from New York. This ain't the city.
I mean, technically it's the city. It's just you know.
This is the absolute nicest part of the city that you could possibly live in.
Of the city.
The most expensive part of the city.
Right. So that's basically what I'm saying. If I were to, you know, if I were to live in the city, it would be
like Park Avenue,
a suburb of New. I don't even know if I want to live on Park Avenue.
Really?
I'm over that, man. Like I like hearing birds, and you know what I'm saying. I want to like, you know, I want to live a smooth, like, you know, I'll go there, spend the night there if if we got things to have business to do. But if I'm gonna be there, I want to be somewhere close that feels like this. But you know, I'm 10, 15 minutes away. I can get into the city if I need to.
So when you want it, you can get it, but it doesn't come at you.
Right. You don't have to. You don't have to be.
You have to be in the thick of it.
Right.
Yeah. I understand that. I mean, I totally get that, and that's kind of like why I live here, where I am now. But Harry, I feel like you're also that way. That you don't really want to. I mean, you want to be in it, but not in it when you don't want to be.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I might be moving a little north, something like that soon.
Oh, you coming to my side?
Nah, I'm not going that far. I don't know.
You're in the boonies, man.
Yeah, no, but I love it because it's like that's something I never had before. Like for you to get to me,
like
you
being
gotta
way out.
Yeah, you not only I'm way out, but you got to get through security. You got to check in with me. You got to. It's the process.
But you could do that in a high rise here.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Not the same as having a house, but I'll probably be in the same general area as him soon. Just I got too much shit going on by my house, and I got some renters already, so I'll keep it rental property and this.
He's had a few while we were doing the FLEXCAST a few episodes ago. Yeah. He had burglars multiple times come through, but while we were doing it, they were live robbing him on his patio.
Really?
While he was sitting here and seeing on his cameras.
So I got it.
But and you know that happens everywhere, especially even in nice neighborhoods. Like they're targeted there. But he's had it already a lot more times than he'd be happy with in the past 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
So 4 months he's had it 4 times.
That's the one thing that I'm uneasy about. You know, because growing up, you know, you had to go through the door downstairs, you had to go upstairs, and then go through a big metal door to get into the apartment.
It's more secure.
Right here, you know, you just one door and you're in.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you know, this you know, the gun laws here are favorable toward homeowners, so.
Yeah. For sure,
it'd be a nice surprise for you.
That's the thing. Like, you know, by and large, they go for stuff that's easier, like outside, like your car or something like that. You don't. I don't know. You don't see as many. It still happens, but you just don't see as many because a lot of the homeowners are going to be carrying. And I'm not advocating like the answer to crime is to have guns so people, you know, it's a deterrent. But you just. I mean, in my experience, I saw a lot more of that stuff happening in areas that are highly populated, where you don't have access, like DC, for example, you can't have a handgun. Like it's really hard to have a handgun.
Not in DC,
it's illegal, exactly.
But in Virginia,
like
you good.
But in DC, you have to have like an exception.
Yeah.
Like you have to. So and I tried because I was in DC for a while.
Yeah.
And you cannot like it's illegal to possess even.
Mm-hmm.
Not even like you can't just get registered. Like it's illegal to possess. So in those areas though, they're not as concerned when they break down a door and bust in that they're going to get shot. So I'm not advocating that that's the answer, but it's a little bit of interesting kind of conundrum.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's the one thing about residential living it's weird because, you know, there's really nothing stopping someone from trying to just run in your house or run on your property outside of the fear that
you're going to get shot.
There's a dog on the other side of that door, or maybe, you know, homeowner's going to be armed.
Yeah. Do you have a gate on your property?
I do not.
Because I'm right now, as you can see, that I'm in the process of putting up some on my entrances. But I feel like once I make it more inconvenient, you know, for someone to come on my property, take some stuff, and go. If I make it more inconvenient, it's just going to happen a lot less. I'm not saying like, when I have gates, it won't. It'd be impossible, but. It's gonna be a lot more inconvenient, and it would take them more time, so it's more risk.
It's a weird time, man, when you have to spend this much time thinking about securing your home.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You know, it's you know, let's think about what we're talking about, like talking about securing your property. Like, you know, you have to take extra precaution to ensure the safety of yourself and your family.
But see, you know, and I kind of feel like that's normal. I don't know. Maybe I'm I'm jaded to it already, but I feel like that's kind of standard in a city. Like I'm like, yeah, it's normal. Like it sucks, but now that I can afford to do all that stuff, I'm like, all right, I'm glad to make it happen for myself. Because when I was in Midtown for 7 years, like there'd be shit happening 25 feet, and I can't, outside my front door, I can't do a damn thing about it. Like I can't secure any more than I had it there. So there wasn't really much else I could do, but now that I can, I'm gonna take that opportunity. So
right,
I feel like that's worth doing. But Harrison, how do you feel about like, given your position now, and is it going to be better, or is it going to be more like what if you can put fences up, or what area you're in? What are you thinking?
I don't know. I'm used to living in the city, but it was a lot more secure. I had 24/7 security of the building. I was 17 floors up. You can't even get on to my floor unless you lived on that floor. And there's only 10 residents each floor. It's like that. I'm not worried about a damn thing up there. But being where I'm at now, it's just there's some gaps in the fencing of where I live, and they're working on it. Had a meeting last night about it, and
how'd that go?
They're doing some stuff, but I don't know.
Let me ask you: do you think you've been targeted?
No. I've been very specific about nobody knows where I go, and then where my house is in relation to the neighborhood. It's kind of tucked away, so it's not like somebody walking by can see like my car or something. It's like up on a hill and whatever, so nobody can see that. So I haven't really been concerned about that, because at night my cars are in the garage, all the windows are closed. Like they're just walking up to a random house that they are just so happen to be passing by through the neighborhood.
Yeah, man, it sucks.
All right, well, we've already hit our break time. That was quick. I think it's because Mike talks a lot slower, and I'm used to it happening a lot faster. But anyway, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with Mike. And we're back. So, Mike, I really like listening to your stories, though, because it's very relaxing and soothing to me. Because he's like, well, I was up in New York, and then we did this, and we had to do this. So then it's very soothing. I like it.
I had to be very careful with my words.
Yeah.
So
words matter. Harry is not careful with his words, but
he loves. Well, Mike and I we chat over sneakers. He's into sneakers a bit, and if you guys watched my video, the first video I did with a real pair of Dior Jordan 1s, those were his. He was able to get those at retail, which is mad come up. Those are.
What are you rocking right now?
Got some Louis Vuitton Virgil collabs, or I don't even know what they're called, but
yeah, they're just calling the Louis Vuitton sneaker Virgils. Yeah. He made a couple of those. Retail's pretty high on them, and I tried a few on, but the ones that I tried were like super high top. You saw some of those.
I have 3 pairs of these. I have this one, I have a gray, and I got a black and gray. The black and gray I doubled up on because I love them so much. But I got these in Paris. We were at Fashion Week. Not this. I think it was last year. We were at Fashion Week. We went to a couple of shows, and the guy that was with us, he had a pair. I said, "Bro, I need them. Where can I get them?" And he hooked it up for me. So, shouts to him.
Yeah. So you've been through a lot of cool events and met a lot of people and stuff. You're saying you work with or did business with like the top 80% of the power players in hip hop. So let me ask you this, because when I met you, what struck me and what I liked a lot is that and I'm good at recognizing it, is that you're a very authentic human being, right?
Thank you.
Who in the space that because we're just regular people, right? The names that we know commonly, who is like the most authentic that we would not necessarily realize?
Man,
I think an authentic person also can recognize that in others really well. That's my theory here.
I think so I'm gonna speak generally.
Yeah.
I think our business is so competitive that people have a lot of time they have their guard up, so you won't. I want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt and say that most people are authentic, right? You got some people who are just fake and whatever, like you don't want nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
Well, most people are authentic, but at the same time, they're not going to show you that authenticity until they trust you. They're not going to let you into their, their their inner circle, or where they kind of let their guard down unless there's a certain level of trust there. So, you know, for the most part, I would say, you know, most people are authentic once they feel like you're authentic and you guys have some type of common ground or something like that, and you guys can, you know what I'm saying? I can say, you know, I've met a couple of characters like Uzi. Uzi's a character.
Lil Uzi Vert?
Yeah, Lil Uzi Vert. Like
He
Uzi
just dropped last night.
Yeah, him and Future just dropped last night. Shouts to Future, shouts to Uzi, shouts to Mean. You know, he's a cool dude, and it's like, you know, you have to remember they're entertainers, right? So, you know, when you're in a room sitting with Uzi, he chilling like he's from Philly. He acts like he's from Philly. But then, you know, once we step outside, he's Uzi. You know what I'm saying? So he, you know, he's in Uzi mode. So, and you can, it's like a switch. But Uzi's authentic. He's cool dude. You know what I'm saying? I remember years ago I met Nipsey Hussle, and he was authentic.
Yeah.
Crazy story, Nipsey. We were at Rihanna's Diamond Ball in New York City on Wall Street at Cipriani's.
Yeah.
So we're in Cipriani's. I'm with Boogie. We got tuxes on. You know, everybody's smooth. There's elite, like, really like important people in there.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's you're saying it's Rihanna's like ball thing,
Diamond
but it's
ball.
also Cipriani. Like, there's two Ciprianis now, right? There used to be like old school Cipriani, and Cipriani was like the Italian joint that like you got to be somebody to get a spot there. If you wanted to go to Cipriani, like when I was nobody, I was like, okay, there's a month and a half waiting list. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I got to call a month and a half ahead of time.
Yes.
But so they not only at Cipriani, but also at this event, exclusive event.
So it's just, you know, it's A-listers in the building. You know, you walk in, you do the red carpet, to give her an interview, this and that. So we in there, we with Nipsey. Now, anyone who knows Boogie personally, they know he's like a dragon. Like, this guy smokes like unbelievably. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, for me as management, I'm you know, he's more, we kind of been lax off of that now. So it's kind of known that he's a smoker, but, you know, I want to keep him clean so that, you know, any opportunities come, you know,
He's the right mind.
The fact that he's, you know, he's a marijuana smoker, you know, doesn't preclude us from getting certain opportunities.
Sure.
But Boogie's like, he's a star, so he's one of them people like, man, I'm me, like, you know what I'm saying? He'll light up a blunt wherever. So we in there, you know,
in Cipriani's.
It's A-list people. The damn, it's like a dome ceiling. It looks like Picasso painted on the ceiling. Yeah. So we in there, Nipsey's there, a couple of NBA players there that I won't name. So we just chilling, talking, and Nipsey's, you know, he's from Africa. So, you know, I was talking to him about some of the things we want to do in Africa. He's like, yeah, man, get with me. So we just talking. So he like, yo, man, I'm finna light this blunt. So he pulls out the blunt. I'm looking at him. I'm horrified. I'm like, yo, I know you're not about to do this in here. The man sparks up the blunt, him and Boogie in the corner smoking. And I see like A-list, like, they're looking longingly like, man, I wish I could do that. It's the craziest thing. And Nipsey and Boogie, they got their tuxes on. They so cool. He's smoking in there, and I'm sitting back. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Yo, it was so crazy. And then I was like, yo, man, you the realest, man. So I seen some of the NBA guys looking, and they just blowing it down in there. And I'm just like, man, this guy's crazy. So then shortly after they finished smoking, then we went and sat down, and it was like a charity event. So people were like, it was an auction, charity auction. So we sitting there, we had dinner, and I'm just thinking to myself like, yo, I can't believe this dude just really did that. And I know now Boogie's gonna do the same thing. Like, we're gonna be somewhere totally inappropriate to do it. He just gonna be like, man, fuck it, I'm about to just start smoking right here. Like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was anytime I think about Nipsey Hussle, I think about that day. Man, that was crazy. Like, that's wow.
Fun. Yeah, another person who was murdered.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Unfortunately, yeah, sad.
Crazy world.
Yep.
Well, I mean, your story is very entertaining. What do you think is, so that was interesting, but what do you think is like the most entertaining, the most ridiculous story that is we were able to share that we wouldn't have to edit out?
Yeah, I mean, that's up there, man. I can't think of nothing off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But when we on the road, man, road life.
Yeah, it's different. Whew. All right, tell me this then. What's something that in the hip hop and R&B, like higher end, higher echelon of stars, stuff like that? What's something that most people just get wrong? Like they think is one thing. What's a myth that someone believes that's just not right?
So when again, the first thing is it's not a meritocracy, right?
Yeah.
It's about you actually work, and that leads into just being on the road and doing shows and stuff like that. It's work. You have to wake up early. My production guys, they go do sound check. Depending on
I know that takes a long time.
Well, I got some pros, so they kind of they get about 30 minutes to an hour. They'll knock it out. And depending on like what we're doing, you might have to have a rehearsal prior. Boogie might have to actually come and make sure his voice and the levels and everything is right. And then when you're doing the show, like everybody's partying, but we're actually working. Like I'm making sure that everything is going the way it needs to. I'm not just there just hanging out, like, what I'm saying. I have a laundry list of things to do from the moment we land in that market to the time we get home. And like I mentioned earlier, my sole responsibility is to make sure everyone is safe. Mm-hmm. So it's like, when I get there, it's not a party, like, what I'm saying. And you have folks that want to come around and, based for all intents and purposes, party, and that's not that. Like,
mm-hmm.
what I'm saying. We here to do a
that
job.
Makes sense. It's a business in the music business.
It is, man. The people that don't take it seriously, they don't last.
They don't last, yeah.
So, I mean, we have fun. It's a family thing. My security QE's a funny dude, man. Every time I see him, I just laugh. Because he's hilarious. He's always got jokes. But it's my responsibility, even though he's security, to make sure everyone is safe. I never put him or anyone else in a position where they'll find themselves in harm's way.
Yeah.
And then you got to be careful too, man, because lawsuits get thrown around all the time.
Yeah.
It's just I'm always thinking about worst case scenario, trying to ensure that we do what we're supposed to do, and we get home safe, no problems. You know what I'm saying? So that's work. It's high stress type of thing.
Yeah. Makes sense. Well, something you mentioned earlier, which I actually have a interesting theory about. So you're talking about, because I asked you about authenticity, you're talking about people, once they get accustomed to you, or they start trusting you a little more, then they kind of open up. Mm-hmm. I actually have a different approach to that. I think, and from the 20-something years that I've been doing business, I'm in the minority in this respect, but I actually trust first. I trust first until you give me a reason, obviously, not trust you. But I trust first because I don't want to be like, well, you prove yourself to me, right? And then, who am I? Who the fuck am I to be like, do something before I trust you?
I agree with you. I think that inherently, in order to do business, there needs to be a certain level of trust to move forward at the very fundamental level. But I'm just talking about when we're talking about authenticity. That's just more on a personal level.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if
I think it's both though. I think authenticity for me is both business and personal, because business is personal to me, right?
Gotcha.
So the way that I've done, I'm not saying everybody has to do it my way, but the way that I've done business is that it's a very personal thing. That if you're doing business with me or my company, there's no difference. You're not doing business with me and not my company. You're not doing business with my company and not me. And that's okay if it's like, hey, I don't want him to do with Haas, but I like what he's doing there. Like, then don't fucking do business with me or my company. But
so, for me personally, right? I'm big into astrology. I'm a Sagittarius.
Oh man, we were just talking about this
you
shit.
You can back me up.
Oh my gosh.
So like
So you don't think it's made up bullshit?
I think
for entertainment.
I think there are certain things that apply. Yeah. I think it's like a clock. You
twice a day it's right, even broken.
Twice a day it's right. So at the very minimal, like at the very ground level, twice a day is gonna be right.
Yeah.
But in life, I found that a lot of that stuff it applies.
Yes, it does.
Right. So me being a Sagittarius, like I don't know how to
Gemini.
Okay, Sagittarius. Okay.
What
does that mean? What does Sagittarius mean?
So Sagittarius, that's December, right? And we're straight shooters. We don't, we're so honest, brutally honest, that sometimes, that's why I talk slow, because sometimes, you might say something without thinking and it come out the wrong way.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful, with your words and stuff, because I don't know how to be anything but honest. I'm gonna tell you what it is, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to, in business, for me, either I fuck with you or I don't. And that it's very difficult for me to, if I don't fuck with you, you're gonna see it. My body language is gonna let you know that I'm uncomfortable with you. Just stay away from me. Keep your distance. So when it's business, I'm able to just be like, yo, we doing business. Let's get through the business. And then if a personal relationship, develops from that, then cool. But in order to get things done, I try to keep things. But there's a moral compass there, right? There's, I refuse to do bad business. I refuse to take advantage of people. I like, for me, I was successful before I got into the business, right? So, believe it or not, my lifestyle hasn't necessarily changed much since I got into the business, right? So I'm not necessarily motivated by money, right?
Right.
So it's about keeping my team safe, number one, and, building a brand. And part of building the brand is having no one being able to say, oh, they did me wrong, like it's bad business. Anytime you mention us, I want there to be a positive experience. And a lot of people, they don't necessarily, have that mantra, or they don't do business like that. Like, I know a lot of people, I think I mentioned this to you before, they're just in it for whatever they can get out of it. You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot of people in general.
Yeah, in general. Yeah. And,
it's just recognizing who those people are is a talent. And that comes to experience and, trusting yourself.
So I think, for me, I don't live like that. So I don't really want to associate with people like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you're not going to get a personal relationship with me if, you don't have that same, we don't have the same core values. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can have relationships with people on a personal level if I don't meet them through business, and we could have differences, right? But we're not gonna, if we have differences on a business level, then I can't see us becoming personally, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
So like, I could meet somebody, randomly, we don't agree, but we don't have to do business. He's just a friend, oh yeah, we don't agree, but you're still a cool guy.
Yeah.
But,
So, which is funny because I haven't done business with him, but there's a friend of mine that I like very much. His name is also Mike. And I think we disagree on pretty much everything. But I love the guy. Like, I like hanging out with him. I like talking to him. But for me, it's the same in business as well. Like I can recognize one thing. Whether we agree is a different thing. But if there's mutual value and respect, that's all I really need.
Right. I think respect and trust, they go a long way. And I think the respect, what I found is respect comes with leverage. So for me, I'm associated with, one of the top streaming artists in music right now, right? So there aren't many people that I can call that won't take my call. You know what I'm saying? So the respect comes with my association. And the trust comes, with, they want something, and there's some risk in it, but they're going to trust that, if I'm telling them we're going to get something done, we'll get it done. Now, if I wasn't associated with who I'm associated with, I don't think the respect of certain people would come. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Just understanding.
It doesn't make you a different person, but it's just a matter of that they don't have the context.
Exactly.
No, I get it.
So, and this is why you have to be careful with the personal in at least in my business.
Well, I think in every
business it could be different based off of the people in his industry, the industry you were in. Could be different how you go about. Maybe not in your opinion, but
because I know.
I was saying it depends on your opinion.
Yeah.
Because I did it very differently than most people in my industry.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why he succeeded.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, arguably I could have been more successful
Yeah.
if I played the game the way that everybody else did. Who knows? But either way, I felt like the right thing for me was to do the way that I want to do it. That's the authenticity that I'm talking about, right? That is, and when I recognize that in others, that's part of the, I guess, the challenge in who I did business with and who I interacted with is knowing. You know what?
He said Taurus.
Did you say Taurus again?
He always brings up the
He brings
horoscope
this
and
shit
Hoss
up all
says
the
this
time.
is
We're both
bullshit.
Tauruses, and he's like, "Oh, that's because we're Taurus." I'm like, "Or it's because we happen to agree on something, like regular human beings."
Jay, it happens a lot.
Well, okay, both Tauruses. You
Not exactly. We not the same on everything.
I'm confused.
But
You
they
just
are-
said because
they
we're
are
Tauruses.
just things.
There's general
Yeah.
similarities between
Yeah.
the signs.
Okay, so as a Taurus, this trusting thing that we were just talking about, right? I was saying I trust first, but the not exception, but the layer on top of that is that I trust my instincts. I have experience. I understand. I think really quickly, better than I used to. Who I can trust, who is worthy of trust.
Over time, yeah.
Yeah, and in 5 minutes of me talking to somebody personally, I can figure that out.
Yeah.
Now, in your like we were talking about last episode, in your early days of YouTube, you got burned a lot. You trusted a lot of people.
Yeah, because they were so they were sleeping in my house. Like that was people I was trusting with other things. I didn't know money would have changed everything. Money changed a lot of things. That's what I didn't know about them.
But you're saying like they were trustworthy until money came around.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's to me, it's a holistic sense. I don't feel like
I was younger too. I was.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just starting to understand how to trust who I could pick up who I can.
you're
trust.
saying you were
or who-
early in the process where you
Yeah.
didn't quite refine.
No,
your
like right
trustability.
now, it's different compared to when I started YouTube. That was back in 2000.
So you've been burned. You trust too much. Now you're on the other side. You're
No,
like you
I'm
don't trust anybody
No,
unless
I'm
you
still
know.
the same way though. I'm still the same way as you. I give trust first until otherwise, like you prove otherwise.
All right, and then where are you on that? I don't think you trust first.
I don't.
Yeah.
It takes a while for me to break down a barrier. I'm like, everybody's out unless
Yeah.
I let you in.
Yeah.
And then once you're in, you're like, it's like I trust you with everything.
I'm the same way. I think once we built the relationship to a place where I'm comfortable, then that's it. Like I'm either in or out. I can't.
Yep.
I'm not. I can't be both ways. There's some people that play the middle really well. I can't do that.
Oh, no way.
You know, either I'll mess with you or I don't.
Even the other day, there's some random people that came up to us because of our cars. The second they came up, I'm like, I'm not trying to deal with this, and I'm immediately not even talking. And you could tell that I just don't even want to talk to them.
Yeah.
And Peter's like, you made it so awkward. I'm like,
No.
I
What's
have no
amusing to
interest.
me is that they didn't even realize it. Like they're oblivious, and I'm like, clearly he's uncomfortable and is like, fuck this. I don't want to be here.
It's just random people talking about cars. I'm like, okay, this is a conversation that's gonna move on. Like,
So with that, right, going into it, I knew that, if I'm gonna be driving this type of vehicle, that's also why I don't drive it every day, because mentally you have to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
And
True.
And
That's true.
one thing, I wanna make mention to you is these cars are aspirational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're someone's a lot, and it's weird because we've been fortunate to be able to have these type of vehicles, but a guy or girl or kid, they see you, that might be the only time in their life they'll get that close to that type of vehicle, and you don't want to be sour. You don't want them to feel like, damn man, because it's aspirational. So for me, I try to always be cognizant of that, because you never know, your words might inspire someone to do something great,
Which I totally agree with, and I think that way too. I think for you, as an example, kids, you don't do that with ever. Because,
no.
yeah, I think it's also, you can feel it. Like, kids are just kids. They're innocent, But when it's like adults who are like, they have something they want, or they're clearly trying to, whatever it is.
Yeah.
these specific instance, this couple walked up and they're talking about how he's like, I got 4 Porsches, I got this, I got that, I know him, trying to drop names in these cars, and I was just like, okay,
Yeah, it's
at this
different
point, I
network.
could.
Yeah.
It was like, what do you guys do, and like, what kind of
Yeah.
job, and like, I'm about to get a Ferrari, I'm about to get a Lamborghini, I'm about to get this.
I'm walking
and-
away.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, like, it's cool, but after about 5 minutes of starting to realize like, okay, this seems like a lot of BS is going on, like a lot of smoke is being blown. I'm like, there's no point to continue with this. Like, if it's a meaningful conversation with somebody who's knowledgeable, but it didn't feel like that, and it just felt like.
And I think I'm respectful about that because I enjoy talking to people randomly for entertainment purposes, but at the same time, I also was like, all right, well, I'm done with you now.
At the end, you were like, okay, right, well, we're gonna go now.
We're gonna go now
because you took like, longer to get to that point, but I was there after like a minute. I was
but I knew you were there, and I understand. It was I would say that I take different things from that interaction, so I knew that they were what they were when they walked up before they opened their mouths. But it doesn't change how I like to interact with human beings.
You love interacting with human beings?
I do. I'm an extrovert.
Extrovert,
that's part of it, right? So I like fucking doing
Sagittarius.
that.
No, introvert. Taurus. You're extrovert.
Taurus.
It doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense.
Gotta be careful though, because some people, they just see money and they're.
But I feel like I can sniff that out pretty well.
Well, yeah. You can get a vibe. You can feel it. It just.
Also, I'm heavily armed usually, so.
Well, yeah.
There's that too, but I mean, realistically, I feel like I can sniff that out, like from that interaction before they walked up. I can tell. I can figure it out.
There's a guy in our group, right? And I remember I went to Cars and Coffee last year. He had an exotic, and I was talking to him, and I didn't have my car with me, and I had my kids with me.
And he treated you differently?
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, there's multiple guys like that in our group.
And
they're not here for a reason.
Yeah, they're not. And I ended up seeing him another time, and I actually had my car. He didn't even recognize me. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, that's why I'm so like, I try to be, I try to over like, yo man, like, and be welcoming, but still just like, keep your distance or whatever. But I try to, not be that guy, because when you have these cars, especially the Lamborghini guys, that we're looked upon as douches. Ferrari guys like this looked upon as douches. So I don't want to like confirm the stereotype.
What about Rolls Royce guys? Like your brother and I have Rolls.
Well, the Rolls Royce, I don't really feel like there's a stigma to
you don't?
All
right.
When it's orange like his, I feel like it's a little bit. Cause it's like, fuck you, I'm here in your face.
Is white?
Yeah, it's white.
Yeah,
yeah.
See, that's a little different.
More normal.
Orange is like, fuck you.
Yeah,
I'm
like
pulling up.
bright.
I'm blasting my music. I'm smoking a cigar. Don't fucking talk to me.
Yeah.
That's you. That's you pulling up to your handicap spot, cranking up the music.
But you're right. Like there's typically a stigma associated with exotic cars in general.
Correct.
With people.
And for me, from where I come from, it's super important to I don't want there to be a chasm where I feel like where someone walks away from my interaction and feels like he thinks he's better than me or whatever.
Well, I mean, I think it depends. Like, I'm happy for there to be a chasm in between me and some fuckface. Like, well, I don't give a shit. But I feel like you get what you give, right? Correct. So if some piece of shit wants to be a piece of shit to me, like, I'm like, all right, piece of shit. I'm not gonna be like, oh well, let me make sure that you're coddled because you're a piece of shit, But
see, I don't go that far, right? I'm
gonna go the extreme everywhere.
Yeah, I'm succinct. Like, I can cut. I'm not friendly. I'll be honest with you. I'm not friendly.
I think you're very friendly.
But we're cool. Like, we're all we've had.
When I first met you, you said like 3 words, but you were very respectful and friendly. Like,
absolutely.
That's what I mean by like a vibe. Like, I think you don't have to talk your fucking face off all the time and go seek people out to be friendly. I think friendly is a different perspective. Like, friendly, I can feel that you're friendly. Right. And I barely spoke to you the first time we met.
That's true. But I'm just a cool guy. Like, I'm just cool. I don't want problems. Like, we just taking it easy. We call guys. We just I don't have my guard up. We hanging out. But like, for the most part, I'm not talkative. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not someone that's gonna be. I'm not an extrovert for all intents and purposes, right? Yeah.
But nobody here is but me.
But it's just like, I'm sensitive to that, because I know when I was growing up as a kid, there were drug dealers that were doing well. They had the nice cars and stuff like that, and they were always they would always give me words of encouragement, not to be a drug dealer, but just, you know, you can do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I want to make sure that I pay that forward. You know, I just want to.
So the drug dealers were encouraging, not to be, hey, sell drugs, but like you can do what you want to do.
Yeah, like, you know, go to school, you know, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can do what I'm doing. You can have these nice things. It's not an impossibility. You know what I'm saying? And I had.
So that was like your first inspiration was from.
Well, not necessarily.
Okay.
That's some of them. And then I spent time in Africa, and I had some wealthy relatives who were the same. Like, you know, go to school, do what you got to do. You'll be able to afford whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, it's super important to be an example to the youth, and just, you know, let them know that anything is possible. Like, you know, we do a lot of philanthropy. We give back to the neighborhood. You know, we do a lot of that stuff just to provide motivation.
Yep.
To let people know that, you know, if you have the work ethic and some talent, there's really nothing you can't achieve. You know, the sky's the limit.
I agree with that. I think a lot of it for people, especially if you start with, you know, you start in a tough position, right? If you're one of the have-nots, money becomes a very large part of you moving forward in life.
Correct.
So it's hard to disassociate that. However, I think the way that I like to inspire and teach and motivate, especially younger entrepreneurs, is that let's say you get all the money you want. If you're not happy, it won't mean shit. Correct. So I try to say, look, from the get, like, go towards the thing that you love, that you're passionate about, that you really, really, and you can change your mind, right? Maybe this week it's one thing, maybe next month it's another thing, but pursue the happiness and the money will come.
Correct.
Right? If you pursue the happiness part, if you learn how to be happy with nothing, by the way, when you have more shit, it's still wonderful. It's nice. Like, I have a lot of nice shit, but I learned how to be happy when I had nothing.
Correct.
And so I felt like this was all icing on the top, and I can appreciate it, one. But two, that as long as I was doing something that I loved, and, you know, there was obviously value in the market for what I was doing, and I was good at it, that 10 years, 20 years, maybe 40 years, let's say it took me 50 years to get there. It happened for me a lot earlier, but let's say it took 50 years. In the meantime, what have I lost? Nothing. I've been happy, and that's the fucking goal. And so I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying it's hard to disassociate the inspiration to go for money from, you know, being truly happy, because I think later on, it's very, especially in our society now, it's very easy to get that twisted.
So I think when you have money, you know, other things become important, right? Yes, when you don't have money, that's kind of the only thing that you can focus on.
Right. Yep. I've been there. I know.
So,
but I feel like if you could convince people, right, who don't have money to find what they're happy in without the money, then they're set for life. When they have money, when they don't have money, they can be happy. Right. That's what I feel like is, like, I don't know, maybe a deeper and harder probably pursuit than here's the way to make money, and then you worry about being happy later. I feel like it should be the opposite. It should be, here's the way to be happy. You won't need the money, but if you're being happy doing it the way that you're pursuing what you want to do, then money's gonna come too. So,
true.
I don't know.
I think I agree with you. I think
it's hard to tell a kid though who has nothing, right, and is looking for money to support his family or medical bills or food, to say go for happiness. But that's why I think it's a difficult thing, especially.
So the approach that I've been taking is you should do something that you love, that you like, but you shouldn't do it for someone else. You should be an entrepreneur.
If it's for yourself, then it's for happiness, right?
You should be an entrepreneur, and you should do something that sparks that thing in you.
You think everybody should be an entrepreneur?
No, okay. I don't think everyone should be an entrepreneur. Because
I was going to disagree with you vehemently on that, but
yeah, because if everyone's an entrepreneur, like, you know, society would break down.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't think we're all meant for that. I think out of 100 of the entrepreneurs that are right now, 3 of them will be entrepreneurs in 10 years or be able to make it.
Right.
You know?
I think, I agree with you. I think so here's the thing, right? And I saw this somewhere, I don't remember where. If if you own a car company, right? Instead of me feeling like I need to be an entrepreneur and have my own car company and be a competitor, why not me start a tire company and you be my largest client, right? So, you know, when I say that, I'm saying to the youth or just to anyone listening, you know, there's opportunity all around you. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to, you know, just go work a mundane job, you know what I'm saying, and just be, you know, if that's not what makes you happy, you know, find something you're happy with and, you know, connect with like-minded people and you'll find a way to make some cash. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're good at what you do and there's a passion for it. Like, for instance, you know, another example, I have a guy that, you know, I met him, he was working at his dad's car wash. And the guy's passionate about detailing. When I send my vehicles to him, they come back like they brand new. And I encouraged them, bro, start your own detail company. You don't have to necessarily work for your dad. You know what I'm saying? He started his own detail company. He's doing well right now. And it's like, you know, he has a passion for it. He was doing it for his dad for a fraction of what he's making now. You know, he has a passion for it. He's good at it. And now the money is starting to come. So it's just, you know, you should, you know, if you love something and there's an opportunity for you to be an entrepreneur with it and make some money with it, then you should absolutely pursue that. You don't have to, you know, work for somebody. But, you know, if you choose to work for somebody, there's nothing.
And you like
wrong
that
with
security and you like doing that, and then there's nothing wrong with it.
I think everyone has to choose their path. You know, there's no right or wrong way to live life. You know, as long as you're comfortable in your reality, then it's all good, man. You know what I'm saying? I think you know, we complicate things more than we should.
I agree with you. My version of uncomplicating that is saying pursue what makes you happy.
Yep.
And if you can do, you know, those, I talk about the 3 pillars all the time for me, which is, you know, what you're passionate about, what you're good at, and what has value in the market, and then you deploy patience, then you're good. That's it.
That last thing is so important. It has to have value in the market,
right? Yeah,
because, you know,
like there has to be value to somebody else. That's it.
That's paramount. Like, you know what I'm saying? I could love fucking, you know,
basket weaving is my favorite example.
Right.
Like, if you make
basket weaving,
Pokemon cards.
You know what I'm saying? Or like, bro, nobody cares about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, unless you're gonna be the
one
right,
in the world, top one.
Right. You know, if you like, that's what I got. That's what made me get into, when I was an undergrad, get into tech, because, you know, everybody's, you know, this is late 90s or 2000s. Yeah. Everyone's, you know, moving toward the information age, and it's like, you know, you at the time you go on Career Builder and Monster.com, people are making 70, 80, 90 grand out of college for doing some of the things that's being taught at this university. I'm gonna do that. You know, I had some friends that did, you know, general studies or whatever, like some bullshit degree. You're not gonna make no money when you come out.
I did interdisciplinary studies.
Communication. Communication is the most bullshit.
Communication. That's the one I was thinking about.
That's bullshit after is easy degree.
Yours was tech, right?
Yeah, I did biomed engineering.
Okay, yeah, that's more specific.
The stupidest degree here.
Yeah.
Communication.
No, I mean, you could argue it's just different. It depends on the person, because mine was interdisciplinary studies.
I just did what I could to get a degree out of it, and I was too deep already to change or whatever, and I was like, I'm just going to get this degree. I spent too much money trying to get here already, and I'm going to get out because I was already working on what I'm doing now. So
yeah, and I mean, that worked for him, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm telling him, don't you stay away from communications,
right,
I would be telling him the wrong thing,
right.
Because it ended up working out for him. So you have to take the advice of others and, you know, tailor it to what you're doing,
of course,
and hopefully, you know, it works out for you in the end.
I agree with that. And I also talk about, I have in some of my previous videos, that a lot of times younger people, we have a lot of younger subscribers and listeners, right?
Definitely.
And then just people in general. But we have a lot of folks who are younger that we know of. but that they often look towards those who have a lot of money or who are very wealthy or famous to say, what should I be doing? And I always say, like, you should be looking for the people who are most happy and ask them what they're doing. Not that you don't listen to people who are wealthy, but if you can layer on, because I know billionaires, and I've said this to you guys, I know billionaires who are fucking miserable human beings, and they are inside.
There's the weight of money can be too heavy to bear for some people. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you have self-awareness, which is the precursor to those 3 pillars that I always talk about, then you're going to know who you are and what you're about.
Right. Well, I tell you, man, that cash, man. when
more money, more problems.
Man, he said it best. I swear, you start making some money, and the burden of it can be overbearing if you're not ready.
Mm-hmm. I actually understand that because I wasn't ready the first time I made really, really good money. I was not ready, and I'm glad. I'm actually glad for the experience because I sold my first company. I blew it on cars and boats and houses and stuff, and traveled the world, and but I'm so grateful because, and I was lucky, right? First of all, to be in that position, but I'm so grateful because I didn't chase money after that. I was like, so now what, right? Now the fuck what? And so I was on my own path, but at that point in time, I got really lucky and came into a lot of money and worked really fucking hard. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't. I valued things differently. And then after I made some money, I was like, well, shit, like it's a lot more to this than just making a fuck ton of money. But when you did have the money, it's like, well, I got to be doing something with it. What should I be doing now? What? And then people start looking to you for advice and like, oh, well, you did it. How do I do it? How do I better my life? And they're looking in earnest. So things do come with that response. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah. So much is given, much is expected.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how many more cliches we can say.
They're cliches because there's some truth to it,
there's truth, right? Exactly.
But yeah, man.
Well, thanks for joining us, Mike. Very much appreciate you coming on and
absolutely
sharing some stories with us.
Anytime.
This is the I think this is the most that we've listened during a podcast.
Really?
Hoss likes to talk a lot, so we listen to him.
I'm sorry. I'm a conversation facilitator.
He loves people and loves talking. And Steve loves, while we're recording the podcast, to watch us go back and forth.
For real.
Steve likes to be the guy who just watches during the podcast. He told us last night that he watched like 5 of our podcasts.
At least a couple
in a row.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed the time, man. It's just connecting with people.
I was gonna say, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be a one and done.
Yeah.
You can come back.
Sure.
But,
also, last question. What shoes are you trying to get right now? Because you're into sneakers more than these guys.
Right now, I think for 2020, I'm done. I got Off-White 5 and Sail, and what's the other colors? The gray one.
The gray, just
the gray one. I got Off-White 4 and Sail. Dior 1.
Big hitter.
Travis 6.
Greens, yo.
I got OG Bread 6. Cement 3 this year. I didn't really buy too many high-end things. Man, I tell you, man, I can't stand resellers, man. I just want to say that.
Every time a sneaker comes out, he texts me. He's like, man, I'm trying to get this shoe. He's like, but these prices are ridiculous. He's like, I don't know what to do.
Here's the thing, right?
Hey, are you interested in the what does that just came out?
No. You don't.
So
you ain't going to sell those.
Since Harry's here, let me just say this, man. So I've struggled with resale on everything. Like I try to go to get some gym equipment, and you got to pay resale for gym equipment
for weights.
And I understand, like, people have to make a living, but bro, come on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can afford to pay resale for this stuff, but the shoes cost $10 to make, $5 to make. Why am I paying $1,000 for some shoes, man? What's going on? So for a while, I said, man, I'm not paying resale. If I'm gonna pay $1,000. I'm going into Dior, going into Louis Vuitton, Saint Laurent, whoever. I'm going to get some high-end shoes, and I'm going to get more wears out of them because for the most part, the materials are better. You know what I'm saying? But then, now everybody wears designer, and I'm trying to get away from that. Yeah. So now I'm back into Jordans, and I bitch and moan to Harry all the time. Like, come on.
It usually goes when someone comes like, "What do you think those 5s are gonna go up? They're gonna go down." I'm like, "Yeah, they'll probably stay around here." And then like a week later, he's like, "All right, man, I need to get them." He's like, "Where can I get them?" He's like, "I'm paying it now, like whatever."
Man,
and then I hit up some of my guys. I'm like, "Yo, I need you to get me a good price." And then I hit up one of my guys to get him a good price, and they tried to charge him double resale. And I was like, "Man, get out!" I texted him. I was like, "Dude, get the fuck out of here."
The guy knew who I was, right? So he tried to tax me a little extra. I'm like,
before I even connected them, I texted him. I said, "Yo, this is a good friend of mine. I want you to give him a good price because he'll probably come back to you if you give him a good price."
But see, and that's what short-sighted business does. Because if he had, then you'd be like, "Oh, let me hook up with that guy."
Next pair of sneakers.
Or you'd start referring him to like me or Steve, and other people like, "Oh, he gave him a good price. You're gonna get more business out of that."
And my guy Boogie, he's good. He spent $30,000 in one shot on sneakers.
Yeah.
So it's like he missed out on
fumbled the bag on that.
Yeah, well, some people don't, and I don't think, and I think it's fine because they don't deserve it. They don't understand how to build relationships, and that's what business is.
Yep. It's super important, man. Super, because a lot of time I can tell you, if you do business with me, and I feel comfortable with you, then when my artists need something, because they hold me for everything.
Yeah,
I'll send you right to them, and you're gonna make quintuple. 10 times more than what you made off of me, off of them.
Invest in the longer term.
Yeah.
So to summarize the last few minutes, fuck you, resellers. That's what Mike wanted to make sure.
Everybody labels me as a reseller, though. For some reason, I get labeled.
I mean, you are a reseller.
No, I'm not.
Technically,
I
you
do
are.
not. I can't even get shoes. Like as much as the shoes that he wants, I don't get them either. So I have to pay resale.
You're not like the typical.
The only reason I got these, I paid resale, but I got them through a brand deal. Like I don't pay resale unless I absolutely have to have the shoe. And
when was the last time you paid resale for a shoe?
These were paid resale, but I leveraged it through a brand deal.
Right, that doesn't count.
That's okay.
The Dior Lows. You paid resale.
Yeah, I paid resale. I paid $6,200 on those. Yeah. But I traded them.
But you traded them for the highs.
I have the highs. I did a straight trade. So the price that I paid for the lows, I got the highs for $6,000.
That's a win.
Yeah, and now I'm trying to trade the highs.
$6,000. My first car was $5,000.
Your first car was $5,000? My first car was $2,000.
I was like $5,000. If my accountant, man. The first time I had to explain to them what I was spending money on was, and they even came back at the end of the year and were like, like a mystery box. They said, "What is a mystery box, and why did you spend $25,000 on one mystery box, and then you bought 10 others of about the same value, lesser value?" And I had to explain it, and this year is gonna be even. I mean, they know now, but like my spending is, I have to do it. So like, I probably spent $150K on shoes this year just for video purposes.
Oh, man,
damn,
sneaker business, whew, big business.
It is huge business now.
Big business, man. I remember, man. I went into Tyson's. And the bread 6, I got them on sale for like $79.
You talking about the mall at Tyson's Corner?
Yeah, Tyson's Corner.
Yeah, knowing people who live in DC.
So if you're from DC, you know. I remember I don't remember what year this was, but I went into the mall and I got the bread 6 for like $79 on sale. Here we are, 15 some years later, you can't get nothing at retail, let alone on sale. It's just because I'm not someone that just started, right? I've been a sneaker person for some time.
I just started,
right? And all good, man. But I'm so annoyed because I have small feet, right? So I used to always.
What size you wear?
A size 7.
So is it harder for you to find them or easier because no one else wears that size?
I'm struggling because I'm not sure.
It depends on the shoe.
It depends on it because some women wear my size.
Yeah.
So I'm not fighting against men for a lot of time. I'm fighting against women, right? And like a lot of women wear like a 6, 6.5, and then you start to get men in 7, but then you have some women. So it's a weird market. So I used to get a lot of stuff on sale, less than retail. So even retail was something that I was like, I don't know about. But now you have to pay resale, and just mentally, man, it upsets me, man.
The one thing that's good about it that I will say is, no matter what, and you usually don't have the intentions of it, but like you buy a shoe, I know that if I buy a shoe at resale, I can wear it a few times, and depending on the shoe, like these Off-Whites, they'll probably go up, and I can make money on top of it in the future. And so that's one thing that's like, But for me, I don't pay resale unless it's a shoe I really love, and then at that point I don't care. And I think that's what most people are sneakerheads. That's like when you're buying a shoe, once you buy it, you don't care. You're not trying to get the money back out of it. So
I wear all my shoes.
Almost the Dior highs, you were almost like, how much are they going for? Like if they're about like 20.
Have you sold any of your shoes?
Like some of my high end stuff, I'll throw it on grilled if I know if it's like past season that I know I'm never gonna wear it.
Yeah.
Throw them up for a couple $100. If someone wants it, they can have it. But a lot of my stuff, I end up giving it away to charity, or something like that, or like a friend, or I don't like hold on to a lot of stuff because I don't like to waste. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if I have a shoe or a sneaker, I want to wear it. Like, my Dior 1, my Off-White 4, I'm going to save those. When Boogie sells out Madison Square Garden, I'm bringing the Dior 1 out. That's like, that's a special.
He's told me that like 3 times. He's
yeah, man. I'm hoping COVID goes away, and, we could go into the arenas next year. When that happens, Dior 1s is coming out. I'm probably that's the time. That's the day I'll probably party a little bit.
Maybe have a drink.
Maybe.
Mike doesn't drink, by the way.
Yeah, because that's one of those. That's like a big accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of those things. Like that's prime time, Madison Square Garden. So on Broadway.
Sure.
Have you worn your Dior's yet?
No. Yeah, because we were talking. I'm trying to do something with them. I haven't told them yet. By the time this comes out, I'm trading them for a car. So it's going to be
do like a trade up
like
series.
a content of trading the Dior for a car and then trade that car for something. I'm trying to do something wild with it. I would like to keep them, but at this point it's like it's fun. I'd do it for the content expand out of it. I'll buy another pair because I had the lows and I've had the highs, and it'd be funny just to see what kind of car I can get out of it. So I've got some cars I'm working on. So
shoes expensive as hell, man.
They're about 11K now. But he was like, if they're selling for like 20, I might sell them. But under 15, probably not.
Yeah, man. Like man.
Because he got them for retail, which is 2K. So that's no matter what, a good come up. These shoes are never gonna go at that price ever.
Yep.
Never.
Yeah, that's true.
Shoes is.
What about the older Dior's that you had? You wore to your wedding?
Those are fun. Oblique B23s.
But did they not go up?
They did a little bit. That's like one of the only designer shoes that I've seen in a long time go up. Because you know, designer shoes don't really go up.
Nah, they don't.
They just go down.
Yeah.
Retail is $1,100.
But these are more designer collabos. Like they're a little bit different.
Yeah. Well, those Dior's that I had were $1,100 retail, and they're going for like $1,200-1,300 now. But
okay. Really?
Yeah.
The Chuck Taylor looking ones.
Yeah. The monogram ones.
Yeah.
Because you can't get them anymore. All the black and white.
Yeah, I have one of those.
I would ask you for it, but I can't fit a 7.
Yeah.
I would buy it from you, but
we spend so much money in Dior and these designers, man. It's ridiculous.
That's why he's got.
That's why he's
got the Dior.
Yeah,
ones.
Yeah.
You got the.
Last year we spent a lot of money in Dior. I'm almost ashamed to say. Spent a lot in Dior.
But you can. Depending on your tax practices, you can expense quite a bit of that.
Well, for me, not for me, but for the
artists. Yeah,
the artists, they can expense a lot of that. It's expensive, man.
Yeah,
you gotta only wearing one time and then you're done.
What about his Dior ones? He's still wear. When you first got him, you FaceTime me. You're like, he already wore them. That was like first day.
Yeah, him and I, we have the same temperament. He's a Sagittarius too, and he wears. He's not gonna buy something and he gonna put right on his feet. And
I'm a Taurus. I would do the same thing.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's a little. Come on.
I don't know what that means.
He's not gonna buy something. He's wearing them. That day, wearing them out the store. He don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like the Dior. Last time I was with him, I said, "Bro, where's the Dior's?" He said, "I don't know." I'm like, "Bro, the shoe is $10,000. What are you doing?" Like he's and I love that about him because he's focused on what's important. You know what I'm saying? He's not like, the guy got a Lamborghini. He don't give a damn. He drive it like whatever. He got a Hellcat. Every time I come around, the car needs new tires because he's doing burnouts in them. He's just living life, man.
We did burnouts recently.
Yeah, he's living life, man.
Actually, for the first time here, did a burnout.
No, not in my Lamborghini. It's rear-wheel drive, so we did some donuts in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Drifted it around a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I did it. I've done it in my previous cars that I've had.
Well, I'm saying in
the Lambo,
car. You hadn't done it.
Yeah.
Well, that was a solid hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
thanks
Good
for
talk, man.
thanks again for joining us. I tried to end it like 20 minutes ago, but we had more to talk about. So, no, appreciate having you on, Mike. We'll have to have you on again. Thanks again.
When he gets that
Absolutely,
488.
Yeah.
That's good.
Lord willing, man.
And Steve's GTR maybe will be back by
Oh
then.
my god.
Oh, by the way, did we talk about that?
Nah,
We can't.
Steve doesn't have his GTR because
upgrade.
it's in the shop again.
It's an upgrade.
Thanks for
Come
watching the
on.
FLEXCAST.
Come on.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
for
guys.
having me, man.
All right.
right.
We'll see y'all next time. For Steve, Mike, Harrison, and I, we're out.
Peace.